Will now be recorded.
Hello everyone, good morning. Any doubts from previous topics? Okay, hopefully no. So in our last session we discussed module pool programming and how do we work with module pool programming. We have seen with one requirement, we designed screen and buttons, and we have seen how do we act on the buttons and the logic how we can implement using the events PBO and PIA. And today we are going to start enhancements and modifications. Enhancements and modification, which is a very important topic. When you join in a project, most of the time you can expect a requirement on enhancements and modification. So this is usual requirement, a common requirement you can expect when you join in any project. And in interviews also, they'll mainly focus how good you are into enhancements and modifications, because this is the main core area where ABAPers work. So what is enhancement and what is modification? A term indicates enhancement is nothing but without changing any existing functionality, adding some extra functionality, that we can say enhancement. Example, sales order creation. VA01 is a transaction which business uses to create sales order. And when they are creating sales order, there are some data they need to enter. Based on the input they enter, it will create the order. And standard SAP they design in such a way. You have to enter input so that order will gets created. Now this software SAP ERP software product customer is using. Let's examine Amazon company, they are using this software product, and Amazon is trying to create a sales order. But Amazon has a specific requirement. What is that? In Amazon company, they have two category customers. One is normal customers and another one is prime customers. So depends on customer category, the order delivery dates or order related any other facilities, we have to uh, maintain difference between the two customers. If it is a normal customer, then we have to use at least 7 days time for a delivery. If it is a prime customer, we have to deliver within 1 or 2 days. And not only delivery, some other extra features also, which means a credit facility for a premium customers. Company provide a credit facility till 1 lakh. He can place order and later he can repay that amount. That is not there for the normal customers. So now this is a requirement to Amazon company. That is not a requirement from companies which are using SAP ERP software product. Now what SAP is going to do when any customer coming, so this is our need. We need to distinguish and provide some features in the sales order. Every time it is not good to ask the end user go and check whether this customer is a customer or a prime customer in somewhere in the table and then come back to create sales order. That is difficult. And instead of that, whenever any end user is trying to create a sale order, whenever he enter a customer ID, and depends on the customer backend, what kind of customer he was, We used to provide respective information into the sales order level. Then that is not provided by SAP. And when Amazon asks this kind of requirement to SAP what they say, for your requirement we cannot change entire ERP software which is used by the multiple organizations like you. But what we can do, we will provide you few places in the standard application, and those places you can use and implement your logic with the help of your ABAPer. These places which is provided by whom? SAP. For what reason they have provided? To implement our logic without disturbing the standard SAP logic. So in this place we can go and implement logic what Amazon is asking. So enhancement is what? Enhancement is a process where we are not going to disturb standard SAP functionality, and we are incorporating our own logic, and this logic will work along with the standard SAP functionality. For enhancements, we no need of any SAP permission. So because standard logic will be there, that is not going to change, and only you are going to add data inside the place what SAP provided. So there is no problem to SAP ERP software product because you are kept going to write your logic in a place where that is SAP provided. That will not be affect standard solution. For enhancements, SAP, they are not taking any responsibility, and also application which is not going to affect anything with your changes. So enhancements are safe, but the problem is what? Let's say your Amazon company is using VA01 to place the sales order. Somehow sales orders are not getting placed. There are errors, and as a uh, support from Amazon support, let's say Accenture, TCS, multiple consultants are working. They are unable to identify why these issues are coming. Then ultimately you have to finally go and ask SAP only because that is the software provider. But when you go to the SAP saying that your application is not working, then first question what they'll ask, did you implemented any changes in our places? Have you used places to implement any change? If you say yes, I did, then what they'll say, you changed our standard behavior application, which means you have used our places and entire functionality you are going to expect newly, and such kind of requirements we cannot support. But what we can do, we will we will close these places whatever we created, and then we will run our application. If our application has not any issues, then you have to check in your places any problems are there. So that is what SAP is going to do. The problem with enhancements, SAP, they are not responsible the code what you have added in these places. They are only responsible for the standard SAP solution, and the code whatever you have added, that is your responsibility to check with your ABAPer, with your software support team. This is the problem. And what is modification? So modification term itself says modifying existing behavior. We have a process, but this process your business is not following. To create a sale order, we have to enter customer, sold to party, ship to party, order, price, quantity, so many things we need to enter. But your organization is not following this process. To create sales order, there is a different approach your company is following. Then you wanted to modify this behavior. You wanted to change entirely the behavior of standard VA01 transaction. In this case, you need SAP permission. You have to write an email and ask SAP, so this is my reason I wanted to change your solution. Then if SAP convince with your answer response or with your details justification, then they will agree to change standard application. If it is like a bug, that somehow you have identified that bug, then they will provide you access to modify the code. So for enhancements, we no need any SAP permission. But for modification, we need SAP permission because you are modifying standard SAP behavior. So how SAP can control this modifications is whenever you are trying to change any standard as application which is SAP provided, which is a T code or a program or a table, whatever it is, system will ask you an access key. That access key SAP has to provide. That is the only way SAP is restricting modifications inside the system. So in our training, we are mainly focused on enhancements because we are not going to do any modification because modifications require SAP permission access key, and this is not the real-time situations or real-time scenarios where we are going to raise a request to SAP for getting the access key. So we are going to learn enhancements in this particular topic. Now, how to identify these places for any requirement, that is very important. And next thing is how we will know is this place is suitable for our requirement, and then how do we write the code, and what is the most challenging part in enhancements. To understand this, we will have one requirement. Based on the requirement, we will go and check so that it will be very clear. So what is our requirement? Whenever you are going to create a sales order using VA01 transaction, and whenever you enter customer informations into the screen level, and there is a delivery block in sales order header level, and we depends on the customer, we have to set this delivery block. So what is the link between customer and delivery block is, if a customer is a normal customer, or he is not the premium customer, then we have to set delivery block or with so and so reason. If the customer is a prime customer, then we have to use a different kind of delivery block. So basically we are blocking delivery not to be happen immediately, or any other reason. So whenever they are going to create, a customer has a credit facility, he reached maximum credit limit, and when that customer is going to place an order will be placed, but delivery will not happen because he has a credit block. So that credit he has to repay. Once he repay the credit what he has taken for previous orders, then this delivery block will be, we will it will be removed, and order will be delivered. So different kind of business scenarios will be there. So our intention here technically, when sales order is going to create, there is a column with the delivery block field, and this delivery block we have to fill automatically whenever any sales order is going to create, and we need to put this delivery block with some value. Later point, if anybody wants, they can change it. So now standard SAP, they are providing this kind of mechanism. First we will check this, and second, now if we wanted to make this as default, some value has to be populated into this delivery block, then what we need to do, and what is this places, and how do we search for the places, and how do we know the place which SAP provided which is suitable for our requirement, and if you know, how can we implement the logic. So those all those points we will see with this requirement. And in enhancements and modification, where it took more time in the business requirements is, if this is the requirement VA01 business says this is the requirement, we need to set a delivery block. Then as a ABAPer, where you'll spend more time is on the analysis part. On the analysis for what? To find a place to implement the logic, because this is standard SAP transaction. So in this standard SAP transaction, where we have to go and write logic to achieve the solution what customer is asking. So analysis, it will take more time rather than writing the code. So writing code is very simple, but the main problem challenging part is to identifying the place. This is what crucial in enhancement. So if you are attending any interview and saying that I am currently working in enhancement, and if you say I will be working on a requirement where sales order, when end user is going to create, I have to set a delivery block, then a question what interviewer is going to ask, tell me the place which you are going to use. Because identifying place which is very crucial, and when you are searching for these places, definitely this place you will register it, it will register in your mind. So definitely you can able to answer this. If in that way he can understand you are really working on enhancement. Otherwise, how you can think, maybe you are just reading and then explaining here, you really not worked. Because if you are really work, definitely the ways you are finding, and it is very difficult, and definitely the place once you identify, it will be registered in your mind. So make sure when you are explaining enhancement, you should also need to note down the place what you are using. So that is also important for your interview purpose. Let me log in into SAP system and then show you the first standard behavior. And also here I mentioned places, right? So these places in SAP ABAP terminology, we have different names. Okay, I'll write it here, but only thing what you need to keep in your mind, this is a place which SAP provided to implement our logic without disturbing the standard SAP process. So these places, we say user exits, customer exits, baddie, enhancement, framework, architecture. In this, we have two things: implicit enhancement, explicit enhancement. Again, in explicit enhancement, we have two things: enhancement point and enhancement section. So SAP, they have provided a places with different terminology. So these are all the terminology which we are going to use. And why we have different terminologies is SAP, they designed this ERP software in the years 2000, and now we are in 25. In when the initial days when they introduced, at that time customers are complaining, we need to implement some solution but we are unable to change our application. Then first time they introduced user exits in the 2000 period, and these user exits are the places they have released only for sales module, which means sales domain SAP SD. Only they have released for SAP SD module, which means SAP sales process. Usually they are asking for the changes in the standard SAP application. So when they received and they have provided a solution, a places asking them to use this place to write the logic, and these places which they provided only for SAP SD module. So you have to keep this in your mind. For finance operation, for manufacturing or warehouse, you should not say I have implemented a user exit. If you say like that, immediately they will ask you to stop this, because this is not designed for SAP any other modules. Only this places is provided for SAP SD. And later point, not only SAP SD, SAP FI, HR, different departments, they are asking for the enhancements to the standard solution. Then they introduced customer exits and customer exits customers are using. And later point of time, there are some challenges with using of this customer exits, and again customers are complaining. Then they introduced baddies, which is far more advanced compared to our customer and user exits. And later point, they are saying that even baddies also we are not able to use properly, and when it is any system upgrades are happened, these baddies are getting removed. Again we need to implement, write the code. So this is a painful problem for us. Then SAP come up with a switch framework, that is enhancement framework. And in this enhancement framework they have implemented implicit and explicit enhancements. Implicit means SAP they will provide the place where you can go and write your logic, and explicit means you can create your own place and you can go and write your logic. And in this you have enhancement point, enhancement section. Enhancement point, it is nothing but you can create your place and write your logic inside enhancement point, and this logic will work along with the standard. That is what enhancement point is going to use. But you wanted to create your place explicitly, and then you wanted to write your logic, but the place where you are going to write your logic, that logic alone it work, and any other standard logic if it is there, that should not work. Then we have to use enhancement section. So these are all terminologies SAP introduced as part of place. So place is nothing but where we are going to write logic. This logic will not be effect as on the standard SAP solution. In a technical terminology, user exits are nothing but subroutines. You know, right? Modularization techniques, where we have seen includes, subroutines, and function modules. So these are technical terminology, these are subroutines. And customer exits are function modules, and baddies are interfaces. These are ABAP oriented concept. Interface is also a class which is having methods without any implementations. And later point, implicit and explicit, this is a different concept. So this is what you need to understand. Compared to subroutines, function module has a lot of advantages. Compared to function modules, interfaces have a lot of advantages. And compared to these two, switch framework has many advantages. So that is how SAP keep on changing their platform and giving places to implement customer logic in that places, and identifying all these places which has a different ways in SAP, and identifying user exits and customer exits baddie, which is not same. Each and everything is different. You need to have remember the ways of finding and the transaction codes which they are going to use to find these places. So you need to focus more on enhancements, only how we can find out these places what SAP provided. So finding places is very important. Even if any functionals are there, for functionals also, whenever they wanted to prepare a requirement, they have to identify this place. Even any SAP SD consultant attended any interview, definitely they will ask, if there is a T code you received a requirement to enhance, then how you will identify these places. This is very important for them, because they have to write that place name in the functional spec when they are asking for an enhancement. Otherwise, what will happen? It will go to the ABAPer, and ABAPer will say, I need 2 days time to investigate and then find it out. So instead of that, if functional itself can identify, then it will reduce the efforts on the estimation. Now let me log it into SAP and show you the first how standard SAP behavior, then what is customer expectation, and then to satisfy customer expectation, how we will identify the places. And if this requirement, I have user exit, customer exit, body enhancement framework, everything, all the places are there. Then which place I have to choose? That is also we will discuss. Let me log in into SAP. S4 server. Now VA01 to create sales order. And here we have different order types. I'll be using OR, normal order. And it is asking to enter the sold to party to whom we are selling the product. I'll be giving some test data and then enter. Do we have any reference? Is there any purchase order or any other reference? Order reference do we have or not? So I'll be entering just test. Now you can see few details which are already filled into the header part under sales. What are this? Pricing date which comes, and requested delivery date also automatically populated, and you can see payment terms are there, Incoterms, location, order reason, what for this order we are placing. So you can select any one of these: customer recommendation or fast delivery, good service, whatever you want, you can select and use it for sales activity. And then if you go to header part, you can see sales area, distribution channel, division, whatever it is configured, and what is the document currency and pricing date, everything. Okay, everything which is populated automatically. Now you need to just enter what part material is customer is ordered and how many quantities he need, and then enter. So here what happened, this order whatever we are going to place, which is not having this material. Okay, we need data now. How can I prepare data? If you search with this customer in sales table, you will get lot of orders. Let me check in VBAP table. And in VBAP table, you only have sales document. We don't have customer. So first go and get the customer from VBAK, customer sales from VBAK table. I have only sales order. Let me add customer as input. Settings, fields for selection, and then let me search Kunal, sold to party, and select continue. Now enter customer, execute. So we don't have any records for this customer. Okay, let me. Oh, there are no records in VBAK table. How come? Zero entries. Good. Okay, leave it, because our focus is to populate this header section. Now this is delivery block or billing block. So delivery plant, anything. If you wanted to populate first, you need to choose the field. Let's say delivery block. I wanted to put delivery block missing credit limit. Okay, so whenever a customer is entered in the sales order, and then if the customer is this one 00051, he has a exceeded credit limit, then for this customer I have to populate this delivery block as missing credit limit. Then how can I achieve this solution? Because this transaction which I am using is SAP provided one, VA01, starts with V, which is in between A to X. And the program which is used for this requirement is SAP MV45A. Go and execute SC38 and open this program SAP MV45A and display. And what is this program? It is a module pull program. And if I go to program or go to attributes, where you can see this is created by standard SAP or created by SAP team, and when they created in 2023, for what they have created, they created for sales order processing. So now this is the program which is doing the sales order process. Okay, now in this program I have to write the logic to populate this delivery block. But is this program, can we change it? As per SAP, you should not change any SAP provided program. If you wanted to change, you have to get access key from SAP, so that SAP will, they will provide the access key, and using that access key only we can do the changes. And you can see now, right now everything is disabled, and then you can see enhancement point like that. So this is because of standard SAP saying directly you cannot enhance this code. If you wanted to enhance this code, you have to use switch framework or enhancement architecture, enhancement places what we have provided. Using that places only we can implement our logic. So now how do we first identify the place? Now we understand what is the requirement. We need to put something delivery block as a value. So we understand, but how can we identify a place where to go and write the logic? As I told you, identifying place is important. Now I wanted to search for user exit. How do we search for user exit for any transaction code? If you wanted to search for an user exit for a transaction code, remember you have to first get that program, transaction code related program. How can we understand that? Go to SC93 and enter T code for which you wanted to find out the place, and then copy a program name which is used for the T code. And as I said, user exits are only implemented for sales applications. If you wanted to create a sale order, inquiry, quotation, these are all coming under sales process. And whenever you wanted to find out the places for the sales, you have to search first user exits. User exits are only provided for SAP SD. For any other modules, we don't have. Now, what is the first step you have to do during the identification of places? First, you have to identify the main program name of the T code. In SC93, just go and enter T code, you will get the program name. Once you have the program name, copy this program. Now go to SC38 and then enter this program in display mode. Now in this program itself, we have the places which SAP provided. For that, just go with the search, global search, and write down user underscore exit. user hyphen exit and select master program and then continue. Otherwise, what you can do, you can also use wildcard searches, user hyphen exit like this. Continue. Now, in the standard SAP MV45 program, wherever SAP provided places for you to implement logic which can work with the standard SAP, which will be visible here. And if you see here, there are lot of user exits are available in different programs, and you need to look for the suitable place. So how do I know in this so many programs where to go, how to implement my logic? Then this is what the analysis what ABAPer has to do. This is what the time taken process to identify the place and then implementing the logic. So logic is simple. Only thing is need to identify the place. So now if you see each and every user exit, if I click here, select and continue, user exit, move field to VBAK. So this is a user exit, move field to VBAK. By using this place, we can move field to VBAK table. So copy this user exit combined and then again search on the main program SC38 SAPMV 45A global search and then user exit enter. There are plenty user exits with perform statement. Perform followed by user exit, perform user exit refresh document, perform user exit read document, user exit delete document, save document prepare. Like this, many user exits are there. As I told you, user exits are nothing but subroutines. Subroutine, how it will be called using a perform statement. Perform calling subroutine program. Now I have a list of user exits. What we need to do next, you need to look the description of the exit and then decide whether it can be useful or not. If I looking at this description, what it says, it is used to refresh the document. But our purpose is not refresh the document. It is to add the value to that screen field. Now read document. So we are not going to read anything. User exit delete document. So we are not going to delete anything. Save document prepare. So once user enter data and finally click on save, if you wanted to do any other actions, then you can use this place. But our task is not that one. Number range. So we are not going to design any number range. And what else? User exit check VBAP. VBAP means item data. If you wanted to check item data, then you can use it. But we are not checking item data. So move field to TVcom header, TVcom item. So this is something like we can pass to header and item structure. So this is looks useful because we have wanted to pass value to header structure. But we will see, is there any other user exit field modification? So during the field modification time, if you wanted to restrict or populate any other functionality, then you can use this field modification. User exit move field to KOMP. So if you wanted to move your field to these structures, then you can use it. Like this, just go and then see what are all it is there. User exit check VBAK, check VBAP, VBKD. So this is different checks you can perform using this. What else others? User exit. So many are there. Move field to VBCom. Okay, so now by looking at this, I can see few are benefit. So what are they? This one, user exit move field to TVCom header, and where we have VBAK. VBAK is header. User exit check is not helpful. This is move field to VBAK communication. VBAK com. Move field to VBAK com. This one form user exit move field to VBAK. So this looks useful. Let's click, double click. Okay, so now I can see here there is a data passing from screen field to table. Move field to VBAK. Okay, let's see whether this will be useful or not. Go to our transaction code where on which field we wanted to pass data. Okay, this is the field. Now, what is this delivery block? We have to pass the delivery block, right? So place cursor on delivery block, click F1 and get the technical details about this field. Clicks technical settings. Now identify what is the screen field. So screen field is VBAK LIFSK. Copy this VBAK LIFSK and close this. And parallelly open this table VBAK LIFSK. LIFSK. So now this is a delivery block. But what is the delivery block we wanted to set? Go to data element inside the domain and check, do we have any value range? Yes, we have a table. Double click and then execute this table. And do we have any language key here? No language key. Directly execute. And you can see this is what where in the delivery block list you are able to see. Now what is our text we wanted to pass? Missing credit limit. This text related ID details you need to capture. 01 01 is for missing credit limit. And then go back to code. So now here you need to place a breakpoint to see whether this place will trigger or not during the sales order creation. How can we know that? For that, you have to first click on this viral option, enhance option, and then go to no utilities where we have edit. Yeah, you need to go to menu edit, enhancement operations, and then you need to select show implicit enhancement options, because we are going to add our logic in a place where SAP provided that logic will work along with the standard. So that is why we are choosing implicit enhancement. Now, once you select that, you can see this highlighted lines. What this highlighted lines? It is showing that this is the place I am giving to you. You can use this place and write your logic. So wherever you see this highlighted dot lines, this is what the place SAP provided. So in this place you can write your logic. That is the meaning of this highlighted values. And also you can see this is a subroutine, form followed by end form. So there is a calling statement, and that statement it will call this particular program. Now once you are here, right click on the yellow lines and then enhancement operations, and then click on create implementation. Then it is asking, do you wanted to create this place to write the code or for only some objects creation? declaration. So I wanted this place to create objects logic, then go with the code. Now from the pop-up, you have to select this create option and then write enhancement implementation name, start by G, enhancement for delivery block, and then write short text delivery block enhancement, and then click on continue. Save as local object. Now click on continue. So now you can see your place is created. This is what your place. Enhancement point. This is what our enhancement name. And write logic. So what I'm going to write here is break hyphen point. So this is a keyword which is used to stop system at enhancements. Now what we do, we need to run VS01 transaction, and when we are running this transaction code, if this place is coming, then we can go inside the debugger and then see whether this place can be helpful or not. Okay, now this is active. So we need to run transaction VA01 as like normal process. VA01. Now you can see a place is getting called for every our operations what we are doing in sales order transaction code. Enter, and then customer, sold to party, and this is test. Enter. Now you can see your breakpoint is triggered. User exit move field to VBAK is triggered. Now what you need to check here, you need this delivery block information, right? VBAK LIFS and where we can find that in the globals. If you go to globals, you will be having VBAK structure. So now go to variables, enter VBAK LIFSK, and there is no value we are passing. Let's say I am passing a value 01. That is what we have seen, right, in the text table level. 01 is the value for missing credit limit. I wanted to pass this missing credit limit. Then we need to enter 01. So in the debug, we can change values. And after changing the value, you need to select enter and it will be turned into gray mode. Now what I am doing, I am passing manually to 01 value to see is this delivery block will be set automatically or not. Now execute F8, F8. Now you can see here delivery block which has a value missing credit limit. The meaning is this place which will help us to implement the logic. So in this place, if you pass VBAK LIFSK value, then delivery block will be coming automatically when user is creating sales order. Now good. Go and write the code. So go to your place. Let me close this. So here remove breakpoint. Instead of breakpoint, you can write if VBAK hyphen LIFSK is initial. If it is initial, there is no value, then you can pass VBAK hyphen LIFSK equal to 01. So pretty print, save, check, activate, continue. And make sure be careful with enhancements. If you are not doing properly, then what will happen? Standard SAP transaction codes will not work. That is what happened in last time. So I requested them to reformat the system. So this is a newly formatted system which I am using. Okay, now we have added our logic. You can test this logic is working or not. How can we test? You need to run your transaction code VA01 from the initial screen. I'm closing all other windows which are open. Only one window we have. So VA01, enter, and provide order type. What is the order type we are going to use to create the sales order? Enter, and then provide customer. Enter, enter. Now you can see delivery block which is automatically coming here. That too missing credit limit. So why this is coming automatically? Because you have written a code. That code is calling during the standard SAP process. I don't want this to be placed with the default value. Then simply go to that program and deactivate it. Go to this program in display mode and search for LIFSK wherever you have used. So this is the place where we passed LIFSK. Enter. Now click on this spiral symbol again, and then place cursor on the highlighted lines. Right click, enhancement operations, undo implementation. What it says, position the cursor on the enhancement. Okay, let me add place it on this name. Right click, enhancement operations, undo implementation. Now you can see the code which we implemented, which is removed from standard program. Now save, check, and activate. So undo implementation is nothing but whatever you did the changes, those are removed from the place. So once it is removed, you can go and test your application and see whether it is coming or not, delivery block. So now there is no changes here. Let me execute VA01 again. Make sure whenever you did changes to the standard SAP program, you have to run the transaction from the initial screen. Then only it will implement. So sales order, order type, and then customer, enter. What is this? Okay, enter, enter. Now you can see delivery block, it is not coming. So the behavior of standard SAP is not to set delivery block or any other thing. You need to enter values so that it will create automatically. But if the business request is something to add to the standard, then the task for ABAPer is to find out the place. So user exit, how to find? You need to go to SC93 transaction and then enter T code for which you wanted to find out the place, and then get the main program. So once you have the main program, and then search in the main program with the user exit. That's all. You'll get a lot of SAP provided places. From there you need to start your R&D. You have to place the cursor and then run the transaction and see whether this place is helpful or not. That is your task. So that's where identifying the place and checking whether it will helpful or not, it will take more time. Since I already aware of it, for me it will take very less time. But if I am also not sure whether this place is helpful or not, then I have to run many scenarios, right? So analysis takes more time on enhancements. I'll be stopping with this today, and we will continue with the enhancements tomorrow. Any doubts so far? Okay, if no questions, we will wind up for the day. Thank you.